And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another week, another final broadcast of WTL World Team League Winter 2023. The round robin group stage is coming to an end. Round 11 is the final round of the group stage. We are here with Team Basilisk versus the KWANGDONG Freecs. Oh my god, and we're in for a spicy one here. We're in for an interesting matchup. A ZVP between Reynor and... oh my god, what happened? Reynor has been through a lot of stress recently. He had a really intense weekend at DreamHack Atlanta. And where did his hair go? Did I miss that? Did he bleach his hair for Atlanta? Am I crazy? No shot. I swear I was watching Atlanta. Did he have regular hair then? Aye. Regardless. Regardless, we're getting into this, and predictions in the chat are open. They're open for you to place your bets on how you think this first matchup will go. It's going to be a best of two between Reynor and Stats, a ZVP here for the ages. Again, Stats, a returning military player from the start of the year. He has been improving over time. Fun fact, Stats has qualified for IM Katowice next year in a couple of months. He is going to be there. He's going to be a part of that event. And the question becomes, how in form is he, and can he keep up with the best of the best? Can he keep up? That is the question, as we're going to be loading into game one on Hecate. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Reynor for Team Basilisk. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have Stats for the KWANGDONG Freecs. Catching up with chat. But yeah, am I crazy? Did Reynor recently bleach his hair? His hair totally wasn't bleached for Atlanta, right? Did I miss that? Am I crazy? Am I I mean, to be fair, I didn't watch much of like the like areas between the games, but yeah, I could have sworn that he had hair. Regardless, we're getting into this, and so far Reynor going for a standard opener, forced to take the unnatural natural here. Big shout out to the sponsors for World Team League, Dodoyu, Honkai Star, Taido, and Autofool. Autofool is that share company, by the way, for the high-tech, like, microwavable financial chair that Oliveira uses. It's crazy. It's we've been getting a new ad this season with Oliveira rocking that chair and giving them a shout out, and yeah, it's really cool stuff. I appreciate it. I appreciate that they reached out and they made an ad with Oliveira specifically. That's I love it. Regardless, we're getting into this ZVP, and so far we have Stats being a bit of an annoyance here. Again, just forcing the unnatural standard opener overall out of Reynor. Likewise, standard opener out of Stats. Very briefly as well, big shout out to the sponsors. Without them, this event wouldn't be possible. Also, it was recently announced, I believe... oh my god. I believe 24 hours ago, it was announced Masters Coliseum. Masters Coliseum, the qualifiers are next month in January. And we got a lot to go over. We got a lot to cast, we got a lot to cover. It's yeah. Oh, not even it's like next week, right? Hold on. Yeah, my apologies. Next week is going to be the qualifiers of Masters Coliseum. So again, without these sponsors, we wouldn't have Kung Fu Cup, WTL, or Masters Coliseum, and no rest for the weekend. I was looking forward to a break next week. I was looking forward to more than a day off. But no, we quickly filled our schedule full of Masters Coliseum qualifiers. So it continues. It does continue. The Starcraft. Regardless, we're easing ourselves into this, and it's going to be a Stargate opener out of Stats, as to be expected, a standard opener. Stats, he has been a little bit frisky in PvP as of late, but when it comes to ZVP, very standard. He's very standard here in this matchup. I'd be very surprised to see him go for something like Glaive Eps off of the back of this, so I'm expecting Stargate into a third base, into +1 blink, maybe +1 charge actually. He has been going for that as well, just for a more defensive tech heavy style, especially on a big map like Hecate. It would make a lot of sense. It would make sense, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of direction we do take us in. For now, you know, the Oracle is going to be on the wake. It's going to be zooming across the map, looking for some economic damage, and looking to contain Reynor here on his 3 bases while he's able to expand behind it. Unlike players like Classic and Nightmare and Hero, Stats has opted not to go for the Void Ray first. He's going for the Oracle instead. So again, just sticking to his guns here, sticking to a more standard play. Meanwhile, at the same time, we have Lings moving out across the map. The goal of these Lings is to delay the 3rd base if possible. Again, the 3rd should soon be taken, and Reynor will be there to slow it down. Ooh, the 3rd is being taken, but we're taking the linear 3rd, not the triangular 3rd. So a little bit of unfortunate positioning for Reynor. He happens to be at the wrong 3rd base, but he should soon be checking. There you go. You can see on the minimap that the Lings are rolling on over. At the same time, the Oracles, they get into that natural base. They deny one of those tumors, force a cancel on an egg, but that's all they managed to get done. Meanwhile, the Lings did just check the positioning of the 3rd. They saw the Adepts likewise with some good SimCity, and the Lings did back off. So Reynor, he's aware of the 3-base play. He's aware it's not a 2-base all-in. 2nd Oracle has arrived. 2 Oracles do one-shot workers, and we do force back that 2nd Oracle for the time being. But still, we have plenty of energy, plenty of HP, plenty of shields to work with, and a 3rd Oracle's on the way. We do catch a couple of drones. Oh no! But a big overextension as Stats comes in from behind, and he shuts down that Oracle. Ay, ay, ay. Again, a good movement here from Reynor overall, just shutting down the Oracle. The first one, at least. There are still 2 left, but killing 1 Oracle this early on is already a big move. Did lose a couple of drones, but well worth it for Reynor. See, chat. Reynor got that old in Atlanta. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, like, Atlanta was a stressful tournament, but it was stressful. And Reynor, you know, he's been through a lifetime of stress due to Starcraft at this point. Atlanta, it was a hectic time, and you know, hopefully he can regain his youth in time for Katowice in a couple of months. I like to think that Reynor, his power comes from his hair, and he expended all of his power. Now he's empty, like he's he's been drained by me, but I'm sure he'll fill out. He'll fill out over the next month, I'm sure. Copium. This is, you know what this is? This is me coping about Geralt with his mustache. It's like, guys, it's okay. He's shaved. He can regrow it in like a week. It's fine. And it's been like a year, and he's been unable to regrow his mustache. It's gone. It's once he's shaved, like he was just never able to grow it again. It's like, oh, never mind. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. But I'm curious. Quickly, just very quickly, referring to the hair as we get back into the game. I'm curious if Reynor, if he bleached his hair for now, and he intends to color it, because usually you bleach your hair and then you go blue or red or something. You have to bleach it first, right, to get a more vibrant color. I'm curious if that's the plan, or if he's just going white. Or like intentionally, so he's just going white like this, and that's just it. Or if he intends to go one step further, go further beyond, you know, go Super Saiyan for I Am Katowice. I'm here for it. Regardless, for now, we do have our +1 blink, as we mentioned before. So a standard follow-up here from Stats. As we saw as well, no gateway explosion. There were 4 gateways over towards the left-hand side at the 3rd base location, but only to wall off. We spoke about it before. This is a very kind of tech-heavy style. We're getting into Immortal production, Storm as well. Stats, he's turtling up on 4 bases, and I love what Reynor is doing. He has recognized how defensive Stats is being, and bam, Infestation Pit. Hive is on the way. Hydra Den as well. Sorry, not the Hydra Den. Spire as well. So we're just taking advantage of how passive Stats is being. Again, Stats playing a very turtle-heavy style. Oh my god, he's already rushing into Sky Toss. Jesus. But again, Stats is being so turtle, so tech-heavy that Reynor can drone up freely, drone up to 80. You can see he's up to 87 workers. And there's no way to stop him. Stats has chosen not to be aggressive, not to harass. As a result, Reynor is kind of getting a bit out of control. He's taking advantage of Stats, essentially. So again, a really good read here from Reynor overall. A very nice read, as we're going to be able to just max out here, essentially. We're going to be still working on Roches and Lings. The Spire has, of course, the ability to bring us into mutant play, if need be. That's going to be on the table here for Reynor. We have the 2nd Stargate Fleet Beacon on the way for Stats again. His goal is to turtle up to Sky Toss. It's an ambitious goal, Hecate does lend to it a little bit. It's a very defensive map, a lot of bases, but here we go. Reynor still maxing out. Big contamination on that Robo. We do delay the Immortal. We do delay the production overall. The scouting is upon us. We have confirmed the Sky Toss. And there it is. Greater Spire is on the way. Greater Spire is going to be already on the way. And Stats is looking to try to break this 4th base. Now, he needs to trade. Stats, what? Reynor has to break the 4th base. He needs to trade just because he has roaches, and this is like inflated supply. Reynor, he's going to have to make room for eventually Corruptors to deal with those carriers. Corruptors and Broodlords. Until then, though, he's still committed to a ground army. He's going to be threatening a dive towards the 3rd base. Gateway is going to be knocked down. The Bailey's going to be rolling in. And Stats is out of position. He was not expecting an attack here at his 3rd base. He gets caught out for the Baileys. They roll in. They take down the shield batteries. We take down the pilots as well. We don't really get too many of the workers, though, so a solid defense out of Stats does minimize his losses. But from here, Reynor backs off, and then bam, 9 Corruptors. Immediately, we just back off. 9 Corruptors are on the way. We are going to just be building up that anti-Skytos army. Only 1 Spire. We don't have a 2nd Spire for double upgrades, so upgrades are a little bit lacking. Right now, we're just hyper-fixated on building up our forces. Bailey's rolling in for a 2nd time. Oh, go, reaction! No reaction here from Stats. He takes the Baileys to the face. A lot of his game units go down. The carriers have since been revealed on the right-hand side, which means we know to commit a little bit harder. Ooh, we made 9 Corruptors. 6 of them are being morphed into Broodlords. Oh, bold move. Which means we have that much limited anti-air. We should be throwing away some more of these roaches, though, and making room for more Corruptors. As Reynor is droning up a little bit further here, building up his Spore Forest. The spores, the spine crawlers, all about the stack defense. Also, Reynor, he is keeping up with creep spread. His creep is completely engulfing the map right now, just taking control of the left and the right hand side. So again, Stats, he's stuck on 4 bases, and basically, Reynor has to chill, refine his army, and his win condition never allows Stats to take a 5th. Just contain him to 4 bases perpetually, and never allow him to expand. That's going to be, again, the end game here for Reynor. We have Vipers on the way, +1 air carapace. We have the Ultra Cavern as well. Stalkers are dipping in. Reynor a bit out of position, but there we go. The Broodlords have arrived. Broodlords will force back the Stalkers. Get only 4 carriers so far. Broodlords getting a little bit feisty. Okay, calm down, Poppy, calm down. You can see the Stats. He wants to take a 5th base. That's not going to happen. Not anytime soon. Not without a fight. Good transfuse out of Reynor, keeping his queens alive. Very nice control here from our Zerg. Does pull back, does shut down so many of these Stalkers. And just punishing the aggressive blink here of Stats. At the same time, Zealot counterattack. Ooh, we are lacking we're lacking Spine Crawlers. Gonna be a good trade here for Stats. Meanwhile, as they're bleeding out more Lings and Roaches, bam, 10 more Corruptors on the way. We dive on top of the Broodlords. We're in the transfuse. We get 1, we get 2. We get up 3 Broodlords just barely. Can we get a 4th Broodlord? And we are running out of Broodlords. Stats, he's breaking through. 2 Broodlords remaining. The Queens are trying to hold on. They take down a High Templar. Another big storm takes down 1 more Broodlord. We're down to 1 remaining. Decent trade from Stats, but Reynor has the economy. He has the bank, and Reynor is remaxing with Ultras and Corruptors. And now we're going for the carriers. We're diving in. Yeah, we're going to shut this down. The 1st carrier, the 2nd carrier goes down. Can we get a 3rd? Yeah, totally. We can totally get a 3rd as well. Storm is going to zone back the Corruptors. We hold on to the carriers a little bit longer. The Miles. Ooh. Yeah, Stats. He's trying to break through, trying to once again gain a little bit of momentum here, but the Lings and Ultras have arrived. The ground army cannot do anything here. We have an Eastern Storm, but it's not going to be enough. And Reynor is snowballing out of control again. He played this out so well. The overcharge is going to be keeping these carriers alive. On the Miles. They strip away the shields here on the carriers. Looks like the Ultras are running out of steam a little bit. It looks like Statsy may be able to hold on to his fourth. That is 17, 18 dead probes, as well as the dead fifth base. We mentioned the win condition here for Reynor, deny the fifth. Over and over again, just deny the fifth base. That's all we have to do as we take control of the rest of the map. And again, there's only 3 carriers remaining. There's a handful of High Templar, a handful of Archons. The Archons are not done. Overcharges on cooldown, which means we can finally shut down these carriers. 3 of them survived earlier, but now we can get on top of all of them. There we go. 2 of them go down. 1 is left. GG gets called, and Reynor will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played here, as Reynor will take the first game, looking strong, looking powerful. Again, winding it back to game number 1. Stats, it isn't a bad style to be defensive like that, but typically you want to try to fake out your opponent. Even if you're being very tech heavy, we see players, very quickly getting into this, we see players like Hero, we see players like Classic. Essentially, when you open up triple Oracle into plus something Stalkers, even if you plan on being defensive and taking a fourth and just turtling up, you still want to be active with your Oracles and Stalkers, with your blink timing and with your Oracles to support them, just so you can apply some pressure and force out units, force out Lings, force out Roaches, trade as well, to try to slow down and cripple the economy. Showtime is really good at this. Showtime, even though, okay, so Showtime has a reputation, right, of like being dim out, right, the wall, where he just like, he's very defensive overall, especially in PvZ, which is true. But in saying that, he's very good at harassing with his Oracles and very good with harassing with his Adepts early on. Even though he's like really working on, you know, the late game and he isn't really investing too much into his army, with what little he has, he still achieves a lot. And he actually gets a lot of economic damage done, and he slows down the Zerg. And it's very important to pull that off if you're playing this style. Otherwise, you give the Zerg so much freedom. So much freedom. And that's what we saw here, where Reynor, he was so free. He droned up to 87 without losing, with only losing 2 drones. He lost 2 workers, and he droned up to 87, got up to 6 bases, got up to Hive Tech. Like, Reynor had so much freedom, and yeah, he just took advantage of stats in the end. But that was game 1. It's game number 1, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have Reynor for Team Basilisk. And spawning in the bottom left, we have his opponent. We have Stats from the KWANGDONG Freecs. Here we go. Yeah, unfortunately, again, this style from Stats, without being hyper efficient or being or focusing on any kind of aggression or harassment, it is very difficult to pull off against a player of the caliber of Reynor. Players like Reynor, Serral, Dark, Solar, once they recognize that you are being passive, they just take full advantage of you as quickly as possible. They're so good at identifying that, and so good at, again, taking advantage of that as well. But for now, I'm going to be getting into game number 2, and I imagine Stats is going to be taking a bit of a different approach. At least I hope so. At least I hope so. Why is catching up with the chat? Reynor has the tail fin hair dye. What is that? Tail? Do I want to know what that is? Oh. I'm afraid to Google. I'm afraid. Like, if Silas typing something in the chat, then I'm tentative to look into it. For now, though, Reynor is going for a hatch gas pool opener. Standard stuff once again. For the second time, he is forced to take the unnatural natural. Really awkward location, especially here on Solaris, taking the forward base. Now, this could lead into a couple of different directions. Because Reynor did take the forward base, he could actually be quite aggressive. We have seen some Queen Walks. We have seen some Queen Walks here on Solaris because of the speed zones as well. So it just adds that much more pizzazz, that much more firepower, and that much more just intensity to your push if we do end up cutting workers and going for a Roach Queen all in. That is going to be something to take into consideration if Reynor does use that base as a bit of a launch pad to spread creep across the map. Meanwhile, because of the base layout, Stats could try to be aggressive after this. It's a Stargate opener for now. True, it is a Stargate, yes, to get into a third, but we could throw down a Twilight Council behind this without a Forge, which would lead into Glaive Adepts. You can go for delayed Glaive Adepts, and you can try to pull Reynor apart. In Glaives, they've made a bit of a resurgence in recent times. A lot of the players, especially the Korean Protosses and even Max Packs as well, they've been very fond of going for Glaives and at these really like offbeat timings and offbeat kind of moments and pulling apart the Zerg player. It can be quite effective. It can be quite effective, but we'll see if Stats is willing to embrace that. For now, oh, hello. Stats did go Stargate first. That is not an Oracle. That's a Phoenix. Let's go. Okay, so we're going for a Phoenix first. With this Phoenix, we're going to be shutting down the Overlords. We're going to be keeping Reynor in the dark. So if Stats did want to go for something like a Twilight Council without a Forge, if you wanted to go for Glaive Adepts, this would be a good way to do it. Again, just taking away that scouting information from Reynor. We do have a second Oracle, I should say, our second unit after this is going to be the Oracle. Into a third base, everything is looking normal for now. At the same time, Lings, they go for a bit of a counterattack. This time they choose correctly, this time they find the would-be third base. And, ooh, Stats is going to be a little bit delayed, he's going to be forced to activate that Pulsar Beam. Or just to keep that Oracle at home. Meanwhile, we are looking for more Overlords. We do find another, but Queens are here to keep it safe. They will be able to. We have a second Oracle in production as well. And I'm still waiting for our tech of choice here. As a reminder, whatever the tech happens to be, Reynor is going to have a hard time finding it out. Whether it's a Twilight Council, whether it's a Robo, whether it's a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon, it is going to be hidden. But now, though, we have yet to really decide here. Phoenix getting across the map, still just getting some scouting information. Adepts are going to be threatening a shade into the natural. Hopefully we don't commit. Plenty of Lings are in position, and we have our answer. It is going to be a Twilight Council alongside a Forge. This looks like +1 in Blink. This could also be +1 in Charge, which I wouldn't be opposed to. Let's see what direction we go in. Adepts, they do shade in. They do focus on a couple of drones. 2 workers go down. Oh! Will we commit here as well? We get another couple of workers. Not too bad. 4 drones in total. Double Oracle dives in, but ooh. Queens are in position. We get 6 worker kills for 4 Adepts. Not bad, but also not amazing. Ideally, would have liked to have traded a little bit better. At least the Oracles are still alive, so potentially they can also get some more worker kills. Meanwhile, behind this, it is going to be Blink, not Charge. So +1 and Blink is on the way for Stats. He's going for a much stronger... Oh my god, that is going to be 6 gates. 6 gateways on the way, plus the 2 that he already has. This is looking like a 3-base all-in. Yeah, the Prism's on the way. Stats 8 gateways in total, 3 bases, no gases at the 3rd either. We're just doubling down on pure Blink Stalkers. Again, you don't make this many gateways unless you have a reason to. And we are looking to. We're looking to make use of them. Oh, Phoenix does go down across the map. Bit of an overextension there from Stats. And there it is. We have 3 more pylons on the way. Why are we making so many pylons? Because we need to warp in. Because we're going to be doing nothing but warp in. So I'm loving that Stats is being more aggressive here. He has hidden his build for the most part, and Reynor is being a little bit tech heavy. He's going to be investing into an infestation pit, which is not going to be helping. But he has Lings, he has Roaches. He only joined up to 69. Nice. Not too much. And now we're pushing in. Here we go. We can warp in 8 Stalkers at a time. And we are hitting just in time, just at the moment the +1 and Blink finishes. Here we go, we're pushing towards that 3rd. We have the Oracles to support, Overlord's going to be going down. Not too many Roaches to defend, uh-oh. Lings are getting shaved off here, Sage Traps, they get baited out. And here we go, Reynor, he goes for the dive, he's shutting down some of these Stalkers. But there are still so many behind this. Again, remember, you can warp in 8 Stalkers at a time. And we're not stopping. We're not slowing down. We're trying to break this defensive line, getting on top of the Roaches and the Queens. And Reynor, has he been a little bit too greedy? Lings are trying to come on forward here. They're amassing behind the army for a surround. So far, the Blinks are looking good here from Stats. Ooh, he does take a bow to the face. Again, we're running out of Lings. Reynor just doesn't have too much to work with. Oh, it's looking very close. Yeah, we're trickling in Lings. We got another big warping of Stalkers as well. Get him involved. Stalkers are pushing forward. The Lings on the left-hand side, they're being cleaned up as well. We're getting on top of the Roaches. And it looks like Stats, has he done it? He's trying to get on top of the Ravagers, trying to get on top of the Queens. But he barely doesn't have enough. He's waiting for another wave of reinforcements. Oh, the Queens. Queens are going down. Zealots have arrived as well. Ooh, some of the battles do connect. It feels like Stats, he was so close. He was so close to breaking him, but the units are getting too low. These Stalkers are getting far too low at this point. Files are connecting. Oracles, they're now diving on top of the army as well. But it does look like Stats, he's running out of steam. I mean, it's still a very close fight, but Reynor's economy has been left untouched, and Stats barely doesn't break through. Here come another wave of reinforcements, though. With these Zealots, once again, the Queens have been reset. We're down to 1 Queen. Good target firing on the Ravager. Oh my god. Good target firing on the Ravager. We get another warp in. Is this going to be enough? Likewise, Reynor, he's been bleeding out a lot of high-tech units. Has been bleeding out some units here. Queens, they're running on forward. They are reinforcing. We take down one of the Queens. Again, as a reminder, this is all in at his Stats. This has been all in the entire time. With his AK, with the Biles, they take down so much of the HP from that Prism. The Prism does survive, but you can see here that Stats, yeah, he's losing too much. At this point, he has lost far too much, taken too many Biles to the face. He had a good attack. It looked like Reynor was caught out for a moment there. We almost broke our Zerg player, but it just barely wasn't enough. Reynor, he shuts this down, and Stats has nothing else behind this. No +2, no Robotics Bay, no second Robo, no nothing, no charge, no Templar Archives. We're stuck on +1 Blink Stalkers. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Reynor. Yeah, we do see Stats forced to engage here in the center of the map, but things are snowballing out of control. GG gets called, and Reynor will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. How did Light catch a cold? You weren't in Atlanta, right? I don't know. I was cleaning today. And I think, I don't know, maybe the dust got to me. It is summer. Maybe a bit of the weather hitting me. Regardless, GG, well played. Reynor will take the series 2-0. A strong lead here for Team Basilisk, but a big shout out to Stats again. Did whip out 2 different styles and wasn't looking too bad. Wasn't looking too bad in them, especially game 2. I do feel like we needed just a little bit more, whether it was just a little bit crisper micro and control, and maybe Stats could have pulled it off here. Maybe could have caused the upset, but in the end, Reynor does take it 2-0. GG. GG, well played. With that, we are going to be getting ready for our next matchup. It's going to be a ZVZ between Serral and Sue. Up next, going to be going on a short break. Going to quickly get those predictions ready, and we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes for Serral versus Sue. fans, welcome back everyone, welcome back to our second matchup here of this Team League match of Team BASILISK versus the KWANGDONG FREECS. We just wrapped up with Reynor versus Stats, and now we have returned with Serral versus Sue in a ZVZ. There's his trophy. Sue, of course, is an IM Katowice champion, and his trophy is there behind him. But here we go, we're diving into this in the top right-hand corner for Team BASILISK. It is Serral. And in the bottom left, we have his opponent for the KWANGDONG FREECS, Sue. His trophy. Oh my god, I feel like a lot of people forget about that, but you know, one of the big memes of Sue was sure he was a Kong for a while, which does refer to him being second place over and over and over again. So many GSL second places, but it all ended, it all did end, of course, with him claiming that big final win at the end, becoming an IM Katowice champion. It's a big moment for him. Meanwhile, before I forget, predictions in the chat, they are open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold. A 2-0 in either direction or a 1-1 score. Happy predictions. There we go. Place your bets. When it comes to getting into this series, when it comes to getting into this matchup right now, as you do see Serral going for a pool first. Interesting. Okay, so Sue goes for a hatch gas pool, standard opener out of our red Zerg player. Serral going for a very safe opener instead, going for a pool first. Now, pool first may sound aggressive, but no, it's very safe. There's no early gases or anything like that. There's nothing you can really do with early lings other than be defensive. And I've spoken about this before. I think it was even last, it was during, I think, Hope Story Cup when we were casting Serral. I was talking about how very often, if Serral goes up against a player that he believes he is, like, stronger than, if there's a bit of a gap between the players, Serral, he is more than willing to open up safe instead of, like, economic. He's willing to put himself behind in a way just to make sure he's safe and secure. And with this, he does crank out 6 lings. Yes, there is potential for these 6 lings to deal damage, but as you can see behind this, Serral skips his gases, going for a 3rd base instead. He should be going 2 base roach essentially. He should be skipping ling speed and going straight into roach production from here, as lings are moving out. Ling's going to be applying some pressure. They're going to be getting some scouting information as well, just to get a read on what exactly is going on. Sue back at home, getting ready as well with his queens, with his lings. We'll see if Serral can get us around. We'll see if Serral can get some drone kills. Up! He's going to be threatening that mineral line. He's going to be threatening those drones as well. It looks like he will maybe get one. It's so close. Up! Can he get one? He does, I think. He does. He does get 1 drone. That is already a good pickup. There it is. 1 drone, 2 lings as well. From here, we shouldn't get too much more done, but where are the extra lings from Sue? He was cutting a little bit too many corners, only making a handful of lings, and with that, he's getting punished for it. Only made 2 lings. We do deal with this, and behind this again, Serral has been droning. We mentioned this before. Again, Serral just going for a safety pool first into a massive amount of droning as well. With this, he should eventually take his gases when he's saturated on 2 bases. This is a very greedy kind of follow-up here from Serral. What I mean by that is that because Serral's gases are so late, no Ling speed and no Baneling Nest either, if Sue were to be aggressive with Ling Bane, Serral would have a hard time defending, as he would have to very quickly just get his wall up and running and try to survive with pure slow Lings and Queens. Meanwhile, Sue, he is not going for the Baneling Nest. He's skipping it. He's going straight into a lair. Okay, so because Sue got his gas at a regular time, he can go for a faster lair. Because Serral went gasless, no lair in sight. Not yet. No tech in sight yet for Serral, as he's just now investing into his gases. Now, Sue, with this fast lair, can go into a couple of different directions. This could just be Roach Ravager. This could just be straight up Roach Ravager. This could also be something crazy like fast Mutas. We are taking additional gases. We're on 3 gases at the moment, not 4. This could still be Roach production, but the longer this goes on for Sue without a Roach Warren, the more likely this is to be Mutas. So there it is. 4 gases have been taken. No Roach Warren yet. I'm feeling a Spire. Now, the problem with the Spire here is that it's very obvious on Radisson Station. It's a very obvious thing to do. We'll see if Serral can get a read on it. Sue does check the 3rd base location, just does confirm that it has been taken. Lair has finished up. Su has the money for it, and there it is. There is the Spire that we were talking about. Again, makes sense just because there was no Roach Warren and because of the fast gases that were prioritized as well. Now, Su, he dips in. He does get eyes on the Lair. He doesn't see the Spire, but he sees the gases. So it's a very big possibility that this could be Spire and Muta play. Serral doesn't have confirmation, but I'm sure it's something in the back of his mind, as he himself is taking all 6 gases. Oh my god. I mean, so is Su, to be fair, as he's just now working on his 5th gas. Meanwhile, Serral with the faster Roach Warren is investing in a +1 Overlord speed and road speed. With that Overlord speed timing and with that Overseer in production, Serral is going to get a full scout. He's going to get confirmation of what exactly is going on. And there it is, the Overseer is going into the main for both players. Su comes in, he's going to get confirmation that there is no Spire. Serral's going in, looking for confirmation that there is a Spire. Yep, there we go, he does get eyes on it, he does confirm. So immediately Serral is aware of what's going on, and he has a choice to make. He can either try to break his opponent now with a Roach push, or he can tank. And there it is, Infestation Bit is on the way. Serral is working towards Hive Tech. I mean, I say Hive Tech. This could be for a stopgap to go into Infestors for fungal growths, but that should eventually lead into Hive Tech and Vipers. As the Overseer comes back in. I love this from Serral, by the way. Serral, he makes sure that the Spire wasn't cancelled. Because when he saw it, the Spire was still in production, he confirms Spire hasn't been cancelled. He also confirms that +1 air attack is on the way. So he's aware that it's going to be a commitment into Mutas. So big scout out of Serral. Meanwhile, behind this, Su still just working on a 4th base. It's going to be Ling Bane Muta, which is not a bad composition. The Mutas, they're now hitting the field, they get across the map, but there are so many queens in position. 3 Infestors are on the way for safety for those fungal growths. Again, they will each have 1 fungal. And already, Hive on the way. Hydroden. Serral, he's taking up into Hydrolurk and Viper. Serral is working towards a superior army composition in the late game. Like, Hydrolurk and Viper is what you want. Mutas are more mid-game oriented. And this is going to suddenly put a lot of pressure and the timer on Su. Like, Su, he needs to snowball with this. He needs to get into a mineral line, kill workers, and cripple the economy, and not allow Serral to max out. And he's sharking around looking for potentially an Infestor. Or any stray drone, any queen. We're still doubling down on Muta production. Again, Su isn't taking in any other direction here. He gets a bit of damage done on these Evo chambers. The gas geysers as well. Behind this is that Lunker down on the way. As we mentioned before, again, Serral is working towards Hydrolurk Viper. That's like the late game composition, one of the most efficient compositions you can have in this matchup. Like Hydras alongside Vipers, they completely just shut down Muta play. Rocks are being knocked down, which is an interesting choice. We'll see if we can mine through those minerals. Vipers are on the way, and once the Vipers arrive, once they are full of energy, then Serral can push. Before that happens, boys are being pulled. We're mining through those minerals. Bold move here out of Su. He's going to be mining through those minerals, going for a Bane bust, but there are Roaches here to defend. Uh-oh. We're going for it. Same time, Muta's going to try and distract, but we get a big fungal. Only one, though. Su will be able to escape. Meanwhile, the drones are going to try to mine through those minerals, and can we get an update on those minerals? I would love to see. As it looks like we have not mined through, not been able to. Mutas once again threatening those upgrades. One of the fungals is baited out. The lurkers are now in production. Vipers have arrived. Vipers are full of energy. Now, the reason why we can push when we have Vipers is that there is no way for Su to engage. If Su ever engaged with his Mutas, Parabomb. We just Parabomb the Mutas and we force him back. Ling Bane's gonna be rolling in. Nice fungal here on some of the Banelings. On every, oh my god! Every Baneling gets fungled and every Baneling goes down. Barely any connections. Ay, ay, ay. The efficiency here from Serral's army. Just shutting those Banelings down. At the same time, the drones, they do not mine through. They try to. But the Roaches are in position. There's that power bomb that we spoke about. So far, good splits from Su. But once again, we just cannot engage. If we ever try to push forward, the power bombs will zone max Su as well. It's like pushing into disruptors or pushing into purification overs. It is so difficult. As the Vipers are going to be gathering up energy here in their bases. More Banelings getting ready for a counterattack. Again, Serral, who's just been trading so efficiently. Here comes some more Banelings. Oh my god, the spines! The Lunkers, they get so many shots off the Banelings, they do not get close to a mineral line. One of them does, but one Baneling is not enough. And you can see Su plummeting in supply. And it's not like it's not like Serral's been pushing. Like, Serral hasn't been attacking, he's been defending. And this just goes to show how well he's been defending. As the Muses go in, they catch a queen, they catch it, they do eventually catch the queen. Took a couple of volleys, good transfuse out of Serral. Muses are getting between the bases though. At the same time, Serral, it looks like he has maybe had enough. Looks like Serral wants to commit. Again, maybe Serral's just waiting for 3-3. 3-3 is still on the way. We can see Su is transitioning into Ultras. We do have 6 Ultras in production. Ultras can be okay. The reality is that if you have enough lurkers, then the Ultras do nothing. The Ultras, they, just like the Ling Bane, they just melt. But that's only if the lurker count is high enough. And it's very possible that Serral has been neglecting his lurkers. He has a couple of them, don't get me wrong, but I believe Serral hasn't seen the Ultra transition. So these Ultras have potential. That's what I will say. They do have potential at the same time. Oh, should catch a couple of Overlords. Really checking, we have a couple of Lunkers in production as well. Here we go. Both players are now maxed out. We can see Serral just taking another base, just walling up here, just absorbing all these attacks. Tunneling Claw Roaches, looks like they have been spotted. I believe Su does get eyes on. Oh, never mind. I thought he was following the Roaches, but I think he was following the Overlord instead. Yeah, the Roaches, they go by unnoticed. Hey. And this is just Serral refining his army. These Roaches are dead supply. Like, we don't want Roaches anymore. They could be very easily replaced with just pure Lurker, and that'd just be better. As Su is taking one of Serral's bases. The Roaches have arrived. They're getting in position. We got a couple of Roaches here at the 5th. We have Roaches moving out towards the 4th. At the same time, Su does push with his army. He's not at home to defend, and he's maxed, which means there is no reinforcements back at home either. Oh. And we're just waiting for the moment. Basically, Serral should be waiting for Su to reveal his army, and then when he does, bam! Then we just unburn. Then we can wreak havoc. Now, the armies are going to be dancing with each other. Plenty of energy for Parabomb and Fungals. Both players just amassing their banks here. Again, Serral, he's waiting for Su. Waiting to either catch him or for the push. Su transitioning into Hydro Lurker Viper. That's a Lurker den on the way for Su. But here we go, the Roaches, they have unburrowed, they have hit the field. Oh, and so many drones are going down. Oh my god. We get over a mineral line worth of drones. We force back the Roaches, the Ultras, sorry. And that means Serral can move out. And what does he do? He takes down the gold base. The picture-in-picture gold base does fall for Su. The forward gold. And from here, do we keep pushing, or does Serral just take another defensive position? I mean, again, there's nothing forcing Serral to attack. He can just take this slow and steady. I mean, he's been just trading better. It's been crazy. There we go. The army is moving out. The Ultras have been revealed towards the south. Serral's aware. Now, Su has been catching up in upgrades. He's still only got, like, +1 carapace, which is less than ideal. But here we go, the Ultras are pushing in. Ooh, they try to. But the field of lurkers do zone them back. Oh my god. Yeah, just too many lurkers to push into. That's still a lot of ultras. Honestly, with this many ultras, as long as we have detection, I think Su can break Serral. I think he can break this siege line. It's going to depend on the angle of attack, don't get me wrong, but I can see this happening. It is 16 ultras. Like that's a lot of ultras, Bobby. That's and here we go with commit. Oh god, we try to commit. We pulling back. Again, there's a lot. Maybe I should also emphasize it is 16 ultras, but they don't have +3. They have +1. Like they have +1 carapace. So the Vipers, the Vipers do get caught out. The Infestors as well. Big blunder there by Serral. We do get the Powerbomb Fungal combo at the same time the ultras move out across the map. Su picking up some very high-tech units. Resetting the Viper count. There's one left. Resetting the Infestors as well. Really powerful moment here from Su. We can see Serral remaking 7 Vipers. That was a good moment, but we need more than that. We need more of that for Su. As he's remaxing once again. Now, remember, Su, he has a lurker den. He has a greater spire on the way. He should be transitioning out of ultras soon and into lurkers of his own, ideally. He could try to go Broodlord. Broodlord is okay. Broodlord is just a really awkward transition. I say it's an awkward transition because Su already has some flyer upgrades. Maybe ultras would be a little bit smoother for him. And there we go. 12 corruptors are on the way. He's going for the Broodlords. I think I said ultras will be smoother. Sorry, I'd say Broodlords will be smoother just because of those air upgrades. So there is potential in these Broodlords. Potential. So if you're curious, the way this dynamic is going to work with Broodlord versus Lurker is it comes down to the Vipers. It will come down to the Vipers and their abductions, essentially. Less so parasitic bombs, but it's going to be about whether Serral can yoink and abduct those Broodlords within range of his own Hydras and Spore Crawlers. I say Spores in case it's defending, but in case of being aggressive, it's to yoink them on top of the Hydras. Again, Serral hasn't had an amazing crease spread, but if he takes his center base and he can set up these siege lines with Spore Crawlers as well, you get to see a very slow, methodical style out of Serral. Ultras revealed here towards the south. Roche is going for a bit of a counterattack. Serral pulling all the way back here to the rest of his army. Trading out those mutas. As the mutas get cleaned up, we're replacing them with Corruptors, with Broodlords. I believe the Broodlords have not been seen, but we still have 8 Vipers. So because of that, like, we should be okay. Of course, a cancel here with these Ultras. And we're going to be committing, pushing up a choke point into all these Lurkers. Oh, this is not the way to fight. Not the way to go. Su loses 2 of those Ultras, backs the hell off. Meanwhile, we were able to shut down one of the Vipers of Su as well. Good pick up. Yoinking some of these Overseers. As a reminder, you cannot yoink Ultras. They're just too thick. They're I mean, I don't think it's fun to yoink them either onto those Hydras. Yeah, we're getting whatever value we can out of these Vipers. Getting a couple of Overseers. Pushing forward. Now, I would love to see how many Broodlords we have. Okay, there we go. We have 11 Broodlords in total. And they haven't been revealed yet. That's what's important. As I mentioned before, Serral still has a lot of Vipers, so he has an answer for them. The Broodlords will not be like a checkmate move or anything like that. It's still going to be a back and forth. Here we go, big fumble with the Hydras. Oh my god! And the Vipers as well. Su taking a much better fight here. Does back up with his Ultras. Once again, catching the Hydras. Oh my god. Oh, a bit of an overextension towards the end, but Su, some really nice catches at the same time. Some Lurker Harass is going to be slowing him down. And this is what's scary. We reset the Hydra count, and what few Hydras were left, we just morphed them into Lurkers. When the Broodlords reveal themselves, I'm really concerned that Serral won't have enough anti-air. That's what I'm concerned about. Power bombs are thrown down here on the armies. Hydras are being rebuilt. We have a handful of them. Okay, this should be enough. As long as we don't morph in any more Lurkers, we should have enough Hydras to deal with this. Okay, we're pushing on forward. We clean up the Ultras. Oh, big overextension from Su. Losing every single Ultra. And Su, he plummets in supply. And Serral has momentum on his side. He can push out. He has Vipers as well. Here come the Broods. Broodlords are being revealed, but here come the Yoinks. This is what we needed. We get 1, we get 2, we get 3. We get 4 as well. So many abductions here. Oh my, all these Broodlords, and so many Broods are going to be going down as well. Ay, ay, ay. The power of the Viper. This is why in late game ZVZ, it's not about the Ultra, it's not about the Lurker, it's not about the Broodlord, it's about the Viper. The Vipers are the real MVPs. Out of 11 Broodlords to survive. A very efficient trade out of Serral. And Su is down to sub 100 supply. He's remaxing on Ultra at this point. And this is going to be close to his last remax. Su, he's burning through his bank. And Serral has just been so efficient. I'm a little bit concerned with how low his Vipers are. I would love to see them topped up. But regardless, they're all still alive and they're getting a lot done. I remember that final, so it was emotional. 16, that's 16 Ultras, man. That's a lot of Ultras. Can we make it work? Maybe. If there aren't enough Lurkers, it's possible. If there aren't enough Lurkers, if we get some abductions with the Vipers as well. Here we go, the Brutes. Well, they go caught out immediately. The Broodlords go down. You get one of those Lurkers. Big fungal here on the Hydras. The Ultras are going to try and break through. Lurkers, they split here in a panic. And it looks like the Ultras, they get on top of some of these Lurkers. It looks like we should be able to clean this up. There's like 3 Lurkers left. Oh, where's the detection? No shot, no detection. Every Overseer went down. The Lurkers are safe. And we can go to town on these Ultras. They get on top of the base. We borrow. We borrow the drones. We keep them safe. The Ultras, they clean up the Hydras at least, but they can't do anything else. They cannot do much else here. Reinforcements arrive. We yoink in the final Broodlord. And Serral, he's still cool as a cucumber. Overseers had been remade. But there's just not enough. GG gets called, and Serral will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. A solid game there out of Serral. It was a bit of a longer game, yes. Su did have map control, but throughout the entirety of that game, Serral was just out-trading his opponent. He was so damn efficient with his units, with his compositions, with his control, with his Vipers, Infestors, Hydras, Lurkers. It was really good stuff out of Serral. Su was trying to break Serral at multiple times there in that game, but just could not pull it off, could not break him, could not pull him apart. There was that one moment where maybe he was banking on that Broodlord surprise, that Broodlord transition. But remember, when the Broodlords revealed themselves, we had 7 Vipers, and we just yoinked every single one of them, and they all went down. So very nice handling of the situation there by Serral. And with that, he takes game 1. Takes game number 1, and it's going to be on Su here to fight back, to try to bounce back here in game 2. And we'll see if he can pull it off. It's going to be his map of choice. Ooh, going to be a bit of a much smaller map. We're going to be loading in to Hardlet. Let's go. Let us go. As of for now, we are just gonna be setting this up here, setting up the lobby. We have our cams back. Serral has returned to us. Let's go. He has returned. He's got his own trophies in the background as well. But last, we are getting ready here for that second game. Now, because it's going to be on hard lead, I imagine Sue wants to be aggressive. Like, Sue went for a much longer game, of course, on Radisson Station, which makes a lot of sense just because of the map layouts, just because of the advantages on Radisson Station as well. Hard lead, very short rush distance by ground. Doesn't take long at all to be assertive here with Ling Bane, with Roach timings as well. I expect a little more, a lot more of a back and forth early on. But here we go. In the top left-hand corner, we have for Team Basilisk, Serral. And in the bottom right, we have for the KWANGDONG Freeks, it is Sue. Sue versus Serral. Now, what I just said about the map being small and the rush distance being short and being aggressive, this is going to be applicable to both players. So we'll see which one takes advantage of this. We'll see who's the one who decides to try to take control of the wheel and be in the driver's seat. I imagine it's going to be Serral, but we'll see. We'll see where we are taken. But now, though, it's going to be hatch first from both Serral and Sue. This time, Serral doesn't opt for the pull first. Going to be respecting his opponent, going for a standard economic opener. Unlike the previous games, we shouldn't be skipping gases, and there we go. It's going to be hatch gas pull. Everything is by the book. We're not cutting any corners, not this time. Again, if you're trying to learn some ZVZ and if you're trying to adapt your style, game one is not the one to really adapt to. It's the openers were very much so adapted to the map itself, to Radisson Station. Very unique to Radisson Station. We don't really get to see that kind of playstyle too often outside of maybe Golden Aura. Golden Aura is the other one, for its own reasons. But now that we're easing into game two, so far nothing really tipping us off. No major signs of deviation yet. Essentially, we should be getting into our third bases, and we should be going for Baneling Nest. Basically, we'll be checking to see if anyone does cut workers early on. We'll see if anyone makes a mass amount of lings when they take their third. That's kind of the big moments that we're going to be looking at here for both players. Or even if they play two base, which two base play is a thing on hard lead. It is available to our players, but there we go. Should be getting our thirds. Drones are moving out. Thankfully. Get out of here with this two base play. There, third base on the way for Sue and Serral as well. Both players are going to be scouting each other, sending out a handful of lings just to get a read on, the third base timing, making sure that there is a Baneling Nest. Baneling Nest gets thrown down for Serral. We should be seeing it for Sue in a couple of seconds once he gets the minerals for it. And there it is. Drone moves out, and the Baneling Nest should be thrown down. There it is. On the way. So no one is cutting any corners. Not yet. We've made it here to the beginning of the would-be mid-game. And there it is. Serral does make a wave of lings. We got 10, 12 lings on the way. Serral is going to be the aggressor. So Serral's going to be in the face of Sue. Sue going to have to try to survive here with his own Ling Bane control. Now, this isn't all in out of Serral. He's just applying pressure. His goal here is to get ahead. His goal here is to trade well and maybe get some drone kills. It's a bit of a test for Sue. And we'll see if Sue can survive. We'll see if Sue can not just survive, but fight back. Lings are getting a lot of damage done here to this hatchery. At the same time, they turn the tables here on the drone. Drone gets picked up. Bailey's and Waddling into the middle line. Do we see the Bailings? They're getting into the natural, and we do react. We do pull back, and we will not connect. Oh, what do we want? We're forcing so much lost mining time here. And there we go. 5 drones go down. Good damage. That's 5 workers, plus lost mining time, plus forcing Sue back. And with that, Serral takes a very comfortable lead. Behind this, straight into a roach war, and Serral, he's got the worker lead, he's got roaches on the way. Stu is going for a counterattack with a Baleen. The Baleen should finish up just in time. So here come the Baleens of Stu. Here we go, we get a bit of a back and forth. The roaches, they have arrived, they almost get surrounded. The Baleens of Stu forced back, and Serral, he does hold. And I love this from Serral. He's going to be pushing with his roaches. He has to be very careful, though, not to get surrounded as Sue's coming in. Comes in for the surround. Serral not too far behind with his own reinforcements. He does force back the Lings. And again, behind this, Serral is droning, by the way. Serral, he is not reinforcing. He is saturating that third base as hard as he can. Basically, what Serral is doing is he's puffing up his chest. He's kind of faking out Sue. He's like, I'm going all in you. Nah. Joke's back. As Serral backs up. Again, he just revealed his army to the overlords. He was making it look like he was committing, which means Sue has made an army, not drones. So Serral gets even further ahead in the economy. He's on 53 drones compared to the 34 of Sue. And once Serral gets up to a 3-base economy, now he can comfortably focus on roach production and out macro his opponent. Again, a big part of ZVZ is kind of faking out your opponents, feigning attacks left and right. The fake outs are real. Meanwhile, Sue was forced to make an army, and he's going to make use of it. At the same time, Baleens, they roll in. One Bailey will connect. Oh, not even. As so, he's just mustering up his army here to defend, and he should be able to hold on. Lings do make it into the main base, though. And drones are being forced off the mineral line. But we don't really kill too many drones. We maybe killed 1 worker, if that. Yeah, there we go. 2 drones go down. Serral, though, has been mining more for longer, and now he can focus on the counterattack. And here we go. Roaches on the way. +1 range, roach speed. Sue's still recovering. Still on the way. We'll see if he can. Again, the upgrade timing for Serral is going to be pretty insane. It's going to be pretty intense. As Serral, he's a little bit of 2 minds. He's droning a little bit and also making a bit of an army. +2 range has begun. So it looks like Serral wants to go for a more secure victory here. Basically, Serral, he's run up to 66, and he's cutting workers at 66. That is 3 base saturation. That's all you need. That's all you need in ZVZ, really. I say that. He's running up a little bit more. Being a little bit greedy here. But for the most part, he knows that he's up in upgrade, so he's going to be waiting for +2. He's going to be joining up his 4th a little bit here while he maxes out on roaches. And once he does max out, once he hits that +2 timing, then he can be aggressive. It's going to be on Stu to recover. Sue isn't out of this. He's down in a couple of different ways, that is true. But we can always come back with drop lords, maybe Tulling Claw roaches, or even just straight up harassing and out positioning your opponent. Sue does have options. The options aren't easy ones, but they're options nonetheless. And I want to believe that he cannot pull this off. As I say that though, Serral, he has hit critical mass. He droned up to 73. That is where we are cutting workers. We have Burrow on the way. +2 is still on the horizon. Before +2 finishes, though, we're setting up for the push. Setting up for the attack. Posturing, dipping in. Here we go. Serral, he wants to commit. He's stutter stepping forward here, taking some biles to the face, but avoiding most of them. A bit of an anti-timing, +2 still on the way, but he doesn't even need it. The numbers are just too far in favor of Serral. Doesn't even need the +2 here as he is breaking this 4th base. And Su is being forced further and further back towards his natural, into his mineral line as well. Queens have brought forward clutch transfuse. But even with the transfuses, still not going to be enough. Ravagers are being forced back. The Biles take down an Overlord. You love to see it. And yeah, with these rallied reinforcements, Serral is just too much. He has broken the fort. He's broken the army. GG gets called, and Serral will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. A solid performance there from Serral. Again, two different styles in Game 1 and Game 2. Game 1 was much more macro-oriented and Serral just trading so efficiently. Here in Game 2, it was a lot more like mind games and like posturing and back and forth here in the mid-game with Roach v Roach. But alas, a big moment. The winning moment for Serral, honestly, was the Baling run-by. Was the 2 Balings hitting 5 worker kills. That was a really big moment really early on, and the more drones you lose early on in the game, the more impactful it is as well. That was just, from that moment, Serral got ahead and he just maintained his lead as well. GG, well played. With that wraps up our second series. Team Basilisk will be winning this matchup, but is it going to be a 4-2, maybe a 5-1, a 6-0? Up next, Trigger versus Keen to end the series. We're going to be going on a short break. We'll see you soon. Welcome back. We are here with our final best of 2 here of this Team League match of Team Basilisk versus the KWANGDONG Freecs. We just wrapped up with Serral versus Su, and now we're here with a different matchup, a TVP between Trigger and Keen. And I believe this is going to be a closer one, a much closer series. When it comes to the previous matchups, a little bit more of a skill disparity, but here we go in the bottom left-hand corner. We have a Team Basilisk. It is Trigger. And in the top right, we have the team captain of the KWANGDONG Freecs. It is Commander Keen. And if you are in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold. Personally, I think this is going to be the closest one of the night. Reynor versus Stats and Serral versus Su, a little more one-sided in favor of Team Basilisk. I think most people did bet on the 2-0s. This one, I can see Keen making Trigger work for it. I can 100% see that. Trigger is a strong player, don't get me wrong, and okay, to get into this, Trigger, his best matchup is Terran versus Protoss, and we have seen Trigger defeat players like Byun, defeat players like Gumiho, defeat players like Kyor. Like, Trigger, he's done it before. He has taken down some big Korean Terrans, and I think this is the matchup where Trigger can thrive the most. That saying, Keen, I do think, is, again, always there, always willing to put it all on the line for his team, and we've seen him take down some big names in the past in WTL. I want to believe at least a 1-1, but we'll see. We'll see. I can understand people placing their lives, their gamba, their channel points on Trigger. I can definitely see that. We'll see. We'll see if the KWANGDONG Freecs can fight back. For now, it is going to be a single gas opener, so Keen is going for something more economic. He's going for a Rax Expand. Very economic opener here out of Keen. Meanwhile, behind this, Trigger going for a standard opener as well. Everything is looking by the book for the time being. Now, when it comes to Keen's playstyle, we have been having the luxury of casting a lot of him here in WTL, and he has been very aggressive on 2 bases. 2-base aggression is typically the MO of Commander Keen. Usually if he takes a 3rd base, he's forced into a 3rd, is what I should say. So we'll see how aggressive he's going to be, and we'll see if Trigger can keep up. First Reaper has arrived. The Stalker's on the way in a couple of seconds, so we're going to get a couple of hits in. We can maybe kill 1 probe, but the Stalker is going to zone back that Reaper for the time being. I'm loving this opener as well from Trigger. Based on how aggressive Keen has been, Trigger is going for a Stalker into Sentry. It's a very safe way to open up in this matchup. It isn't very aggressive, but very safe. The goal here is not to deal some harassing damage or delay across the map, but that Sentry will provide a hallucination to get a scatter. So get a very safe way to play here from Trigger. Meanwhile, behind this, we have a Twilight Council as well, so it's going to be Blink Stalkers out of our Canadian Protoss. Meanwhile, Keen behind this, going for a delayed starport. If I'm not mistaken, he went Rax, CC into Factory into 2nd Rax. A very delayed starport here. And it looks like we're going to be going up to 3 Raxes from Keen, so if that's going to be the case, it is going to be a very dedicated 2-base push. As the Reaper is going to go down, but the Reaper gave his life to the cause, and we did scout the Twilight Council. So Keen, he's aware he doesn't have to worry about Oracle Harass or Phoenix Harass or anything like that. He's aware he doesn't have to worry about anything in his mineral lines, and he can hyperfixate on Stalker aggression. Cyclone, barely misses the hallucination. It was, oh god. It was in position, but barely did miss it. Trigger, he gets in, he gets a full scout, and Trigger, he confirms the 2nd Rax, he confirms the 3rd Rax, and the delayed starport. Now, to be fair, this was a starport before 3rd Rax, so not the most aggressive of builds from Keen. We have seen a lot of players just intentionally delay their starport for so long, building up Marines, Marauders, Cyclones, tanks, and then going for a big 2-base all-in. This is a little bit different. Because of the faster starport, we can see Medevac is already on the way, and we can go for some Cyclone Harass. I'm assuming we will, but we'll see kind of how that Medevac is going to be used. Meanwhile, Trigger is moving out. He only has a handful of Stalkers, but his goal here is to contain his opponent. Blink isn't done. This is a very risky maneuver here from Trigger, and hopefully he doesn't lose too much. Hopefully he's able to get away with this, and again, just maintain a presence outside of the natural. There it is. Additional gateways are on the way. I believe that's going to be 3 gates in total. Oh god, as 1 Cyclone gets picked up. Very nice pickups here from Trigger. Takes that 1, almost gets a 2nd. Good juggling from Keen. Does avoid those shots. Good control from our Korean Terran. Behind this, as I mentioned, I believe it's 3-gate blink into a 3rd base. So very standard opener out of Trigger. Very safe way to play. Not hyperly aggressive. Is just expanding, taking control of his 3rd base while he works on his transition. That transition is going to be Blink Stalkers into Charge and Colossus. So very gateway oriented. Opting to delay his Colossus production here in favor of going for that charge and setting up his 3rd. Blink Stalkers trading with the army. Meanwhile, we do have a drop that's being peeled away. There we go. We have a bit of a Marine drop being sent over towards that natural base. Marines and Widow Mines, by the way. Trigger, his attention is being kept here on the front lines. It's being kept on Keen's main army. And will Trigger be able to respond in time? There's a lot of potential in this drop. That drop could get out of hand. Meanwhile, first Colossus in production. We have 4 more gates. I believe that is 7 gates in total, if I'm not mistaken. Which is a pretty solid amount here on 3 bases. Could be working towards an 8th gate. Behind this, Trigger thinking about a 4th. Still building up his Colossus count. Once he gets his 3rd fully operational with his gases, then he can afford double rover production to make 2 Colossi at a time and Disruptors. We're not there yet, but Disruptors and Colossus, they're going to be on the horizon here for Trigger. For now, though, Keen is pushing. Once again, just trying to keep the attention of Trigger here on the main army. That drop is still being kept close, but there we go. We're pulling the trigger. We're going straight for the natural. The drop is making its way towards the natural waste. At the same time, Keen threatening that third. And Trigger, does he notice? He just warped in. The Colossus comes out just in time. Mind Shot's going to be going off. Only on one probe. And Trigger will deal with this. At the same time, the main army pushes in, but Trigger, he is all over the place. He's all over this. He's at his third base. He's at his natural. He's in his main as well. The drop will be taking down the shield battery, but Trigger, he warps in. He defends on every front. He shuts everything down. Oh my god, even getting a kill on that medevac. Shout out to the picture-in-picture. And Keen is being forced further and further back. Now, has Trigger overextended? That Colossus looking vulnerable. Up! He wants the Colossus. He wants it, and he will not get it. There's one Marauder left. Oh my god, with the final shot. The Colossus goes down, but that was so much. That was so much army for one Colossus. For one drop of blood here as Trigger is going for a big counterattack. Again, Trigger, he knows he has momentum. He knows he can punish this sword. Good force fields. Likewise, good juggling. Oh, no. Good juggling, but we shut down the medevac. Oh, the hallucinations. They bait out the mind shots as well. Very nicely done that to Trigger. Smooth moves from our Canadian Protoss here as he's looking to cancel this third base, and he will force a cancel. What are my shots? Good connections here with the Zealots. But it looks like Trigger, he's snowballing out of control. He shut down the main army, he shut down the third base, now he's breaking the natural as well. Mind shot's going to be going off, but the Colossus still stands strong. And as long as we have that one Colossus again, there's just too much to handle. As I say that, Trigger, he's getting his fourth base, waiting for reinforcements as well. He doesn't have a War Prism, so he cannot reinforce on the front lines. It's taking a little bit longer here to actually amass his army. But Keen, he's in some trouble. He's in quite a lot of trouble at this point. And here we go, we're coming. The Chargers, they come in, they force some friendly fire with those Wind Mines. 11 SCVs go down. We are diving on top of the Colossus. The Marauder's doing a lot of damage. The boys. The Colossus barely goes down to the Viking shots. But that was 22 SCVs, and even though Keen has survived the attack, he's not really living. He's limping along here. His economy in shambles. And he did so much to kill one Colossus, and now here comes a second. GG gets called, and Trigger will take game number 1. GG, a solid game there at a Trigger. I was loving the back and forth as well. Like, when it came to that game, we saw Keen was coming in with almost a tri-pronged attack. He was attacking at the natural, at the main base. He was pushing towards the third as well. He was testing the limitations of Trigger. But Trigger, he kept up. He was able to keep up, able to go blow to blow here with the punches of Keen. Keep up with him, and even overtake him. So a solid result there out of Trigger. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. It's going to be Keen's map of choice. The way this works here, again, loser's pick in WTL, no vetoes. And I wonder, what does Keen want? I imagine he wants a smaller map. I imagine hard lead, maybe, I was going to say, yeah, Oceanborn. Oceanborn wouldn't be too bad either. And he's going for the other one. He's going for Golden Aura. Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. I don't know if Keen is one to eBay block. Wouldn't be a bad map for it. This map is a very short rush distance by ground, similar to Oceanborn in that sense. But Golden Aura also has a very defendable 3-base setup. And even 4-base setup. So I wonder, we could be looking to go into the mid game, or we could be looking to try to end the game a little bit earlier instead. I'm curious. Curious what the plan is going to be here for Keen. And how prepared he is coming into game 2. Oh, the sun is rising. Let's go. Is it snow? It's snowing. Let's go. Again, Trigger, he is in Canada at the moment. Makes sense. I mean, in my brain, when I think of Canada, even when it isn't winter, even when it's summer, it's snowing. Like, that's that's just the image in my mind. But here we go in the bottom right hand corner. We have Trigger for Team Basilisk. And even in the top left, we have his opponent. We have Keen for the KWANGDONG Freecs. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know. In my brain, it's just always cold in Canada. It's just, yeah. It's like, I guess, the polar opposite of Australia in a way. In my brain, at least. As we are settling into this, and so far, we are just getting into our openers. What I'm referring to as well is that Keen hasn't proxied. That's the other thing that was on my mind, is I wonder, is Keen willing to proxy as well in Game 2? But no. Everything's at home. No proxy Raxes. So far, everything is by the book. Trigger going to be moving out with the probe scout, trying to get a read on what is going on. And once again, it looks like Keen is going for an economic opener. Winding it back a little bit, if you recall, Game 1, Keen did go for a Rax expand with a single gas opener, and it's looking to be very similar here in game number 2. So, standard economic openers here from Keen. Likewise, Trigger going for a Gate Cyber expand as well. Oh, I spoke too soon. So I was curious like, who would be the aggressor on Golden Aura, if anyone, and it looks like the answer is going to be Trigger. We throw it in a pylon, Cyber Core is done. We could go for a proxy Stargate, or we could go for a second gateway to reinforce and to keep the pressure up. Adept is on the way, and what is our choice going to be here for Trigger? As we wait a little bit longer, there it is. We were waiting for 150 gas, and that is enough for a proxy Stargate. So this is not all in by any means. This is a way to get ahead economically. With this proxy Stargate, we should be going into a proxy Oracle, getting very quickly into the mineral line here of Keen, very quickly looking to cripple the economy of the Korean Terror. And we'll see if he can pull this off. For now, we are getting into our opener as well from Keen, getting into a straight up 1-1-1. Interesting, a very different opener this time. If you remember, in game number 1, we went for a delayed starport into a faster second Rax to build up the marine count, went for a marine Widowmine drop. Here instead, it's looking like we're going to reactor to Hellions, then we go into a mine drop, getting into faster stim, question mark, with that tech lab. I imagine we won't be going for an add-on swap, as the Hellions barely miss the tech. Oof. Okay, the Oracle's on the way. Now, depending on the Widowmine positioning, we can defend. We can shut down the Oracle, but before that happens, the Hellions, they've made it to the mineral line. They make it into that natural. At the same time, Adepts also make it in. The Oracle hits the field. The Widowmines are not in position, and SCVs are going down. Ay. Gonna be 5, 6 SCVs in total. The wall is a wall. Hellions across the map get cleaned up. And we are still just getting so much done. Widowmines are trying to reposition. We could even try to force some friendly fire. Ay. As the Widowmines waddle behind the mineral line and the shot does not go off. Again, I'm so concerned that we force the mine shots off on those SCVs. As a Widowmine is going to be waddling into the natural. Trigger, does he react? Oh, no reaction. No reaction. But only 2 workers go down. That could have been so much worse. Could have been so much worse here. As both Oracles have survived. As the dust does settle, Trigger, he is up 10 workers. And the mine drop. Oh my god. The Widowmine drop has been denied. Again, Keen wanted to be active on the map. He wanted to move out, but alas, he is stuck at home. We could be going in with a second Oracle, but there is a Cyclone now in position. Depths will threaten the shade. And and Trigger will back up. Behind this is getting into Blink. We have Blink on the horizon here for those Stalkers. Not going to Phoenixes. Just double Oracle into the Twilight Council. Just going to be double Oracle, and from here Trigger is taking a third base. Looks like the game is going to be settling down a little bit. I say a little bit because Keen is still amassing an army. Marines, Cyclones, tanks, Vikings as well. I don't know if Keen really intends to take a third base, or maybe he'll take a third, but only as he pushes. Show us what you got. Nice revelation here on the army. Trigger does have eyes on the first force, but here comes the second. Now again, this is not an all-in at a Keen. We do see a CC behind this. Oh no, the medevac! Oh, the medevac does go down. You can hear the screams off screen as we shut down the full medevac. Aye, aye, aye. At the same time though, Keen are pushing across the map. He's committed. And Trigger is out of position. Uh-oh, we could end up in a weird base trade. Could end up in a very weird base trade here as the Stalkers do retreat. Bunkers are on the way. Big mine shot's going to be going up. This shield battery is going to be going down, but we do have a second shield battery behind this. Overcharge is popped. Overcharge is popped, but it's not going to be enough. We do see Keenies breaking through. The Stalkers from behind, can we get on top of the tanks? It looks like we can. Both tanks go down. The bunkers have not finished, not yet. And this army is so battered, so bruised. We got 5 more gates on the way. It's going to be 8 in total. And as Keen finishes up these bunkers, Trigger, he's going for a counterattack once again. Trying to catch some reinforcements. Viking lands in the main base, but we have Stalkers to reinforce as well. We defend, Papi. To defend. And Trigger pushing in. He finds a naked tank. Tank goes down. Tank was exposed. There we go. Does force a recall out of Trigger. With this Trigger, he still has a lot of momentum on his side. Keen still has not taken a third base. Trigger has been happily mining from 3 bases, happily with quite a hefty worker lead. Up 7 workers. He catches the Marines! The Marines, they do not make it back home. The bunkers are not done either. There is 1 tank on the high ground. And Trigger does not have high ground vision. But as they file in, they get on top of the Marines. It looks like Trigger, he just has an overwhelming army. GG gets called. He breaks the natural, and Trigger will get the 2-0, taking down Keen. And not dropping a single game, not a single map for Team Basilisk. GG. GG, well played. A solid result here from all the players on Team Basilisk, and there's a reason why they are one of the strongest teams in the league. I think they're top 3. They're top 3 underneath DKZ and Onside, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, really solid performance there out of Team Basilisk. They will be making it into the playoffs. My condolences to the KWANGDONG Freecs. That's going to be the last that we see of them this season, and they will not make it into the playoff bracket. They had a really rough season of WTL, a really rocky road for them, but I wish them the best of luck, especially players like Stats that are going to IM Katowice next year. Best of luck. They still have a lot of room to grow. Stats has a lot of skill to recover as well, if he wants to perform well at IEM. So I do wish him the best of luck here, as we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have Platinum Heroes versus Matcherino Esports. We will see you guys soon. Take this time to hide your stretch roaches, massage your Marines, and we'll be back in 4 minutes.